Primrose Schools has more than 450 schools nationwide and is a national system of accredited early education. I'm happy to welcome Primrose's Chief Technology Officer, Avery Ma, for the Tech Leaders Hiring Well series. Welcome, Avery.
Hi, Zach. Thanks for having me.
How are you doing today?
Doing awesome. Doing awesome. By the way, as a side note, I sort of mastered this parenting thing. I realized that I have all the power at my fingertips. I just need to turn off the internet when things get a little out of line with my two kids, and everything comes right back together. Good skill or life tip for those folks at home.
Yeah, I'm glad you shared that secret. That's going to become really useful here for a lot of my listeners. Why don't we start with an introduction? Tell me how you got here, how you became the CTO of Primrose.
Yeah, sounds good. I've been in technology at every facet my entire career. So I started out in infrastructure, hardware, systems, networking, and then found a love for databases, just administering them, and then realized there was a whole world of data access that was required. So I got into some software development, some .NET development, and then worked with a lot of really great folks who kind of instructed me in the ways of thinking about problems, and that moved into data and running the full gamut, having been a part of almost every level of technology that is in play in an organization. I got into e-commerce and just loved it. It was a 24/7 ride. A lot of great leaders, a lot of great folks to work with and experience issues and problems and overcome those challenges, and then, sell another widget. So when I was looking for another position, I reached out. Networking is extremely important, so I reached out to some folks who I'd worked with previously. It kind of distilled down to an old leader who had moved on to a couple of different companies, and then asked me to come down and check out Primrose. And I'm going to be honest, the high speed world of 24/7 e-commerce, I'm coming to what essentially is childcare environment. Didn't really equate to the same thing, and I was a little disinterested off the get-go, but came down, met the team, really understood what they were doing, remained open, but also really excited by the opportunity to build up technology, which had really been underserved in the organization for a very long time. And so got to take the reins of an awesome and fledgling technology group and really build it up and bring a couple of my own personal philosophies to bear about management and seeing on the horizon what's coming and what new technologies are there, being able to try that out. And it really kind of distilled down to, I put my son in a Primrose and put my money where my mouth is. And I saw the end product. I saw my son become an older, more mature child, ready for kindergarten and beyond. And I love that. So then I was completely invested. My family really appreciates the premium education and awesome service that Primrose provides.
Wow, that's cool. That's a really nice story. I'm sure it got you pretty bought into the whole idea of what they're doing over there. It's good to see it kind of affecting your own family.
Oh, completely. Yeah. Yeah. The reward is every single day, interfacing with my son, my daughter too. My daughter is a little older. She didn't get to go to Primrose. So we'll keep it on the down low that wish she would have had that opportunity. It's been really awesome. And the culture at Primrose and who we are and what we represent, there is just something else that motivates all of us that work at Primrose, from our schools to our support center. We're really driving early education. We're really driving and shaping how young minds think about the future and how they're prepared to become citizens of the world.
Okay, great. So how long have you been in this role at Primrose?
I started in 2018, came down in January, wanted to hit the start of the year. So January 2nd, deep dive into the team, understand the landscape, what technologies were at play, what our opportunities were, and then kind of set a roadmap from there, and brought on some really great technologists over the course of a couple of years. I'd say it's really challenging. Even before the pandemic, it was really challenging in order to find the right personalities who are willing to be curious about all things technology and at the same time have the ability to think through problems logically in a really direct and efficient manner, solve those. At the same time, be able to communicate with other staff, your other partners and team members around the organization, be able to talk to them on a level where they can understand and trust what you're doing, and earn that trust so that then you can help them and make the necessary changes to continue to evolve the organization. So it's been an awesome journey, and we're really proud of where we've come and the folks that we've got on the team.
Yeah, I could imagine that, they're fully utilizing your jack of all trades background here, huh? Have you guys been growing across all of those areas from like system to application to, security, you name it? What have you guys been focused on?
Yeah, we started this journey by making, I would call it a semi-typical shift from on-premise infrastructure at multiple co-locations and then really consolidating a number of systems into one or more cloud environments. Started that. That's been a long journey. You don't want to make radical adjustments and then you adversely impact the user base. And so we make really calculated modifications and we have great third party support that comes in and assists where needed. And so we've done everything, and security is of the utmost importance. Data security represents safety for a child in a classroom. So all of our schools hold our family's information and in our family's most precious asset in kind of the same regard. And so we need to make sure that we're staying on the latest and greatest versions of the supported platforms and infrastructure and environments that we're using. Data is a huge one for us, moving into a landscape where data is now really driving a lot of very accurate insights so that we can more effectively deploy our team members to either specific issues or things that we really want to see positive outcomes on over a certain period of time. And then, Microsoft is sort of our home. And so the 365 environment allows for a lot of flexibility in providing Power Apps and Power Automate style applications. And so we've been doing a lot of that, or at least investigating and researching how we can continue to expand our footprint. I'd say that the individual team member on our operations team, historically, you'd have referred to them as the IT pro or the level 1, 2, or 3 technician. And now it's really becoming a more elevated position where they're individually solving problems and attempting to move data in different environments very securely and at the same time build applications for folks to access consolidated data sets across teams in a more direct or at least a more architected manner than just sharing an Excel spreadsheet. So it's getting more complex, but it's also challenging our team to be better and they're embracing it. So it's really awesome to see the learning that goes on.
That's really cool. When I think about this just from a like scale side, I mean, over 450 schools, you're trying to build things that are applicable to every school that you guys are working with. That sounds like a lot of work. As you came into this position, obviously you built out the team. How did you approach building out a team that could adapt to like such a large system?
Yeah, it's a great question. It kind of boils down to some character traits there. By the way, 478 schools
Oh,
and
four
we're
seven.
approaching 500. So we're really
Wow.
growing rapidly and it's been awesome. When you look at technologists today, oddly, and this is part of my own philosophy, but oddly, we're in probably the quickest, most quick and evolving industry possible. So as I think about team members, as I think about the types of people and the character traits that our team requires, skill is important, but arguably we're in one of the industries in which it just constantly evolves. There's something new all the time. And so to ask or expect that a candidate's going to come in and know everything to the minute and that they're ready to go and be able to just handle whatever comes at them would be pretty short-sighted and it would be a failed expectation. We're going to struggle through that one. But what you're looking for is truly someone that can learn and adapt, who can put the logical pieces together in a way that says, I might know or I might not realize or know what that syntax is specifically, but I understand, basic principles related to it. And so these are the things I'm going to use the G word, but these are the things I'm going to Google here. And these are the things that I'm going to search and hit the message boards and the IT forums for just to understand who else is having this problem. And so it's that level of curiosity that I think is required in all team members, really looking for that. And that is a real challenge to identify in someone just in a few interviews or a couple of hour-long sessions. But if they're able to demonstrate a little bit of skill and then also talk a little bit about the things that they're passionate about and the things that they would like to engage in on a day to day. Everybody's got those cool technologies you wish you could bring into your environment. Those are the things that I think really signal whether or not a candidate has that aptitude to grow and learn in an environment like this. It's just as a side note, it's just really interesting that in our industry, we we attempt to control every aspect. And so, even in as rapidly evolving as technology is, we're trying to maintain some status quo. We're trying to keep the train level. And it's also the ability to then handle what happens when systems go down or when a new problem arises. How are you going to solve it? It's a person who's curious about what are the technologies they want to use, but also the ability to logically problem solve and address those challenges in an orderly manner. Remain calm, especially when pressures get high.
There's a fine balance there, I'm sure, when kind of finding the right people for that. But one thing that I've noticed recently, just in a recruiter role, is that people out there are really looking for positions that could really make a difference out there in the real world. Some of these positions that you're selling things or you're not passionate about the end product of what you're delivering on. I feel like, working in ed tech like you are, you don't have that problem. Are there any other like differentiators like that you guys offer as like, carrots to attract candidates?
Yeah, yeah, so true. I mean, you can sell some widgets and you can provide a consumer instant gratification. Been there, enjoyed it. Or you could give somebody the satisfaction of great education for whoever their child may become in the future. The next president of the United States or the next, cultural leader. These are really awesome things that we get to invest our time and efforts. As a byproduct, I'll just mention for me, coming from e-commerce, that's 24/7. That golden button needs to be available all the time. And the pressure when it goes down, especially in inconvenient moments, is high. And so a lot of times, that happens on the weekends. It happens, 2 a.m. on a Sunday morning, right? So a lot of chaos 24/7. However, in the childcare industry, especially for what Primrose does, our focus is generally making sure that our schools are serviced. And it's Monday through Friday. It's in the operating windows of their schools for their time zones, but it's Monday through Friday. So we get time to then refocus on the weekends. We do a lot of maintenance cycles on the weekends, so they're a lot more low pressure. And we don't try to do every weekend, just as needed, stagger those things out and pre-plan them. But it does offer us a little bit more of a relaxed environment to start making some changes. And those changes are always necessary. We get to do them without adversely impacting the support that we provide, both our support center and our schools.
Okay, good. And how about like the tech stack that you guys are working with currently? What are you excited about? Any projects that you're working on or any technology that you're starting to work with that has really kind of grabbed your attention?
Yeah, my Microsoft suite of tools makes it easy. We talk about sophistication, we talk about uniqueness. We're not really diving into the Microsoft ecosystem to say, all right, we're going to build this completely unique power app. It's really how do we then tailor the well known problems that most of the Microsoft users out there have experienced and then create something that's tailored specifically to Primrose. And so Power Apps is an area where there's a lot of growth. We're working on one right now that allows our administrative teams to then access some data and share that data across both our technology group and our accounting group, and then be able to track the vendor onboarding process in a more sophisticated way, at least, and something that's a little more organized. And so sure, there are applications and solutions that are out there. There are things that we can certainly subscribe to. But for where we are and for the complexity they require and the current challenges that we're trying to overcome, a Power App is perfect for us. And we think that there are a lot more scenarios like that. It puts a lot of flexibility on our technology team to then come up with solutions that have a lot of standard roots to them, but just need that little bit of Primrose added in so we can make sure that our folks are doing something they're comfortable with. Outside of that, we talk about the data warehouse, and the data warehouse is a really big focus for us, or I'll just call it our data environment, because the terms keep changing on what you call these things, from the warehouse to the lake house to the where else the next house will
Wow.
be. So it's getting to the point now where what we really want is a better understanding internally of where our data environment is and how we utilize data and the constituents for that data. And we separate the concept of those who are responsible for bringing in and managing data to those who are taking great insight from that data, our analysts. And as we segment those responsibilities and not force our analytics team to then try to understand how to how to manage and encrypt and keep data secure in those environments. We allow that to be something that is in our technology infrastructure. They're able to then focus on the things that really drive our business and the success of our schools forward. That's another landscape that's awesome. And then the myriad of technologies there that are changing every 7 or 8 minutes is pretty cool.
That's great. And it sounds like as an organization, Primrose is pretty bought in to growing and like building the right tools from a technology standpoint to kind of help you guys do what you need to do to build the best school systems.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't think when you're talking about childcare, you really don't think about cutting edge technology. That's not the first thing that comes to folks' mind. Really, it's great teachers in a safe and secure environment, and generally a really great educational model or a curriculum to be paired with that. Technology is maybe a supporting role in all of those aspects, but it's an important one. And it may not be overt, it may not be right in your consumers or your parents' faces, or it may not be in the hands of your teachers and whatnot, but it's essential in order to make that environment that you're promising that their child's going to be a part of. What I really enjoy is pushing the boundaries on that, is really changing the expectation. While we may not be a software development organization, what we are is a consumer of really great technologies that are out there, and the ability to start pushing the envelope a little bit on what technology looks like for the childcare industry. There's obviously some new technologies that are coming to bear that are helping with the management of school administration, that are reaching out to parents, that are managing curriculum delivery models. And those are the things that seem to be really critical, or that are really critical to a success of a school. And so those are the areas that we're really diving into. And our organization continues to push on how we can continue to grow that. One area specifically that we're working on that's really awesome is a more digital and dynamically delivered curriculum to our teachers. Our goal is to make good teachers great and great teachers excellent. And so how do we do that? Give them the tools when they need it and give them better tools than what they're using today. And most teachers around the industry are just, either using PDFs or printed copies of curriculum that's been well researched and really has positive impact. So how can we take great content and deliver it just in time with a lot more control to what teachers need at any one time in a pretty chaotic classroom at times, right? I mean, you got 10, 15 children running around. That's already in and of itself a lot to manage, but we give teachers a great tool so that they can manage both the classroom and still deliver great curriculum.
That's fantastic, especially as we learn like every student has a different way of learning these days, right? Or always has, but is amplified more so today. That's really cool. What's the culture like at Primrose?
You think about an organization that's been around for 40 years, and we just celebrated our 40th anniversary, and what it takes to run an organization and be in existence in 40 years, right? There's just a lot there. And one of those aspects is truly culture. So when people ask me about the culture of Primrose, a lot of things come to mind, but we'll start with the first piece of evidence, if you will. For an organization to continue to grow as rapidly as we are and be around for 40 years speaks volumes about how our leadership and the executives, and especially our CEO, Joe Kirshner, really thinks about people and really thinks about what our mission is in serving more children. So it's a really exciting thing to be a part of. And it's a culture that, while we challenge each other and the tempo is really high almost all the time, it's one of those where we all know what we're doing. We all know and take reward in the mission that we've got to provide great education and a safe, wonderful, nurturing environment for children. Again, especially mine. But at the same time, we have a lot of fun. We enjoy our lunches together, our happy hours together, and we also enjoy events like tomorrow. We'll be having a chili cook-off, and we've got some judging going. Just for the record, white chicken chili is not chili. I'm a chili purist.
I second that.
But at the end of the day, I feel like Primrose is one of the we are generally very happy folks, and it is one of the more positive organizations that I've had the pleasure of being a part of. And I've had some personal things that have happened, and everyone is extremely supportive. And that meant a lot for me and my family. And so, we try to embody that for everyone, for all the team members that are there.
That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. I mean, that's absolutely what everybody's kind of looking for, in a work culture, right? Just like an understanding, balanced environment. I know you guys are looking to hire a few positions right now. What do you typically look for when you're looking at tech talent?
Yeah, so we're looking at a few things. The curiosity, the ability to lean into things that are happening. It's a constantly changing environment, so you really have to embrace change. And some of the things that folks really like within whatever discipline of technology that they're a part of signal back that they have that curiosity. That's an opportunity for us to then leverage that curiosity and really grow it and turn it into an educational experience for the entire team. So looking for those motivated individuals who are really curious about how to grow within the tech space. We're also looking for, folks with some logical ability to problem solve. I think everything that you do is about troubleshooting, and I think the way that you can get to general answer and the way you think through those problems is really important. We talked about our data warehouse area, or at least our data environment. I'm going to leave it a little more broad because I think there's an evolutionary process that we're going to need to undergo in the next couple of years, if not sooner. And there's some new technologies out there that we want to bring to bear. There are folks out there who are strategic in nature, and there are folks that really understand the tactical components and are really excited to see where some of the new technologies are going. In both cases, there's a potential for someone to fill a really great role in our data environments. Just finding the right person to be able to understand what's going on in an already active and really intense environment and then take the reins on where it needs to go given enough time. As a technologist, I feel like that's a really awesome prospect. Somebody says, hey, look, here's how the engine's running today. We know we can get a heck of a lot more horsepower out of this thing. We also know that there's a way to make it more fuel efficient and make it a little quieter and all sorts of other attributes there. And so go ahead, run with it for a while, understand its in and outs, and then let's talk about how we make modifications to this thing over time and make it that much better. I think every technologist's dream. So that's what we're really offering.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, there you go. There's the bat signal out there for all you data engineers. That sounds like, something you're interested in. Please reach out. I really appreciate you coming on here, Avery, and kind of chatting about this. Primrose sounds like an absolute phenomenal place to work. I'm really happy that Hirewell has had the opportunity to partner with you guys and really kind of work with you to learn. I know that from my side, the people that we've had the opportunity to place with you guys have been amazed by the opportunity. Thank you again. Appreciate your time, Avery.
Yeah, thank you, Zach, and thank the Hirewell team. The folks at Hirewell, you all are responsible for the vast majority of my team members because of the way that you identify quality, the way you go through your initial discussions with folks. And we know that the folks that I know that the candidates that come to us are already in the ballpark of the types of personalities and the key character skills and drive for curiosity that we're looking for. It makes it that much way easier for me. Primrose, while it's early education, I had the same reservations when I came, but ultimately it turns into a really fantastic organization that allows a technologist the ability to flex into some new things and embrace new toys out there and bring them to bear in an environment where we're really serving the future. All of that is extremely rewarding.
Perfect. Perfect. Awesome. Well, hey, thanks again, Avery. We'll wrap up here. Please reach out to us if anybody's interested in what they just heard.
Yep, absolutely. Please reach out.